quiet before I even ring this out. Greetings everyone to the Thursday Road Gateway Rotary meeting. I think I only have 3 or 4 left. And I hope you're gonna miss me, but I'm not gonna miss you very much. Just kidding, just once a week is a lot. Thank you to Pat Bath and Lisa Higgins for being our greeters today. Pledge and four-way Renee, who was previously Arm Priester, is now Sorensen. Congratulations on your merit. Come on up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Okay, inspiration, great. Smith, come on up.
For many of us, there comes a point in life where we reflect on who influenced our path to success by the random acts of kindness. I find the impact of those acts can last a lifetime. 50 years later, I can clearly identify a handful of individuals and acts to this day that are still memorable and greatly appreciated. Among this group are Mrs. Shipley, my junior high school social studies teacher. She caught wind that a classmate had announced he was going to kick my ass after school. Midway through class, she informed me that I need to stay after school. After the classroom had cleared, I asked her what the deal was. She replied that she just didn't think I needed to be out there. No humiliation, no ass kicking, all good. In May, a senior mechanic at the timber mill truck shop where I worked during summer break from college. Don sold me my first 2 cars, the first for $300, and the second, his wife's beautiful custom-ordered '66 Plymouth Sport Fury. At 100,000 miles, she decided the car was no longer safe to drive. Don loved the car, and he knew that I would love it too. That was a $500 deal. Don also spent considerable time showing me all kinds of tricks of the mechanic trade. Al Stone, my second-year engine instructor. Al was a retired Air Force mechanic and had a lot of tricks of trade that he loved to share with anybody who was interested. It was Al who taught me to sharpen drill bits on a punch writer and the art of extracting broken bolts. Those skills have served me very well through my nearly 50-year career. So the lessons here: don't underestimate the reach and importance of sharing knowledge and kindness. And to honor those who have had a lasting impact on us, we have an obligation to pay it forward with our own mentoring and acts of kindness. To quote Canadian author and speaker Robin Sharma, each person who delivers kindness stays with us forever.
Thank you, Greg. That was great. That was his first time. You'll be invited back. Okay, let's introduce any visiting Rotarians in the house. Any Rotarians with guests? Oh, Brenda. Beth. 1 second, please.
I'm delighted to introduce Deanie Briller, who has been involved with my camps since she was in the 6th grade. She's now running them and planning them and writing grants for them, and I'm so blessed. She is a budding Rotarian. She's actually a full-bloom Rotarian. She just hasn't joined yet.
Great, thank you so much, Michael.
So we've got a table full of guests that are here as our presentation. We'll introduce them as we get to the presentation.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, meanwhile, a few announcements on this end. The Porch Fest t-shirts are back there, $10 a piece. Don't forget that the Friday Morning Club is doing their first crush event on June 21st, which is a Friday. It's their 16th annual. The cost is $60, and it's at Wildlife Images. And I would really love to see at least 8 or 10 of our club members, even if you can't go, buy a ticket, and I'm gonna go and, let's make a party of it and support them, because they support us too. Today is Gina Marie's birthday, and in keeping with my original goal of giving you the opportunity to give $10, or we would sing happy birthday, Gina Marie, against the odds, said she would take happy birthday. If you'll recall, Steve Rowe and Patty Hansen both ended up $20 like that. It's all right, happy birthday, but at a quick pace. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gina Marie. Happy birthday to you. I suspect when you've had about 30 more of them, like the rest of us, you'll go for the $10, but. All right.
There we go, all right.
Okay, we have a whole bunch of thank you notes up here. I'm not gonna read all of them, but thank you from the district conference. We were the first club to donate $2,500, which is interesting since we were neither the sponsoring club nor the biggest club. We got a nice thank you note from the District 5110 Rotary Youth Exchange person. We also got a whole bunch of thank you notes from last week's Service About Self person who wrote individual thank you notes, so my mother would be very happy about that. And next, I want to ask Dawn Welch and Patty Hansen to stand and just let us give them a round of applause for. This is for organizing the Friday events, and I have about 25 stories I could tell you about that, which were related to Rotary bureaucracy and Rotary royalty, none of which we have in here at all. And then there was a little bit of micromanaging. And so we had this strategy that worked out perfectly. Dawn has done at least probably 250 events in her life while working at Asante and elsewhere. So I had full confidence in her because I've only done one event, and that was my wedding, and you know how that turned out. And then Patty has this unbelievable act. It's the dumb blonde act. Now we know Patty is blonde, but she is not dumb. But the people she works with don't know that. So she has strategized this way to, oh, Joe, I don't understand. Could you explain? And you just wear them down after that. So congratulations, it worked very well. And it really was a fun event, and that's what we had hoped. We had an initial goal of having 8 of our club members be involved, and we had at least 30. And so I want to thank Jenny Jackson also for agreeing to be MC. It was a rowdy crowd, and you did a great job. So thank you very much. And Dawn actually had something she was going to share with us, which is related to cowboy stuff. So here you go.
Okay, just a little serious note after our event. I was thinking I was going to be sergeant at arms last week. And I said to Steve, what are we going to talk about? It's right after the cowboy event. And he said, share some cowboy logic. All right, so this is very serious. This is what cowboys would do. Don't dig for water under the outhouse. Don't go in if you don't know the way out. Don't mess with something that ain't bothering you. Never drive black cattle in the dark. Never approach a bull from the front, a horse from the rear, or a fool from any direction. Never miss a good chance to shut up. If you find yourself in a hole, the first thing to do is stop digging. It's better to keep your mouth shut and look stupid than open it and prove it. Letting the cat out of the bag is a whole lot easier than putting it back in. The quickest way to double your money is to hold it and fold it over and put it back into your pocket. Just cause trouble comes visiting doesn't mean you have to offer it a place to sit down. Don't mess with something that ain't bothering you. And this one is very important. It's the last one. Don't squat with your spurs on.
Thank you, Dawn. You can see why our program was such a success. Well done. Let's see. Okay, anybody else with announcements want to come up and do we have anybody? And then we'll go right into something.
Okay, so great program. So just Porch Fest is cruising along, and thank you everybody for who's helped so far. So please mark the calendar June 14th, that's Saturday, we need all the people there we can get. I suspect it's gonna be hot, hope it's not, because that'll drive attendance or not. But if it does look like it's gonna be hot, please maybe bring an extra, pop-up canopy, whatever those things are called. We have 4, I think, in-house, the club owns 4, and we could probably use a couple more. And we may end up trying to throw some up where the bands are as well. So if you have extras, be ready to bring them. That's it. Oh, okay. So I have the pleasure today of introducing Jalen Dinkins and Robin Burley. Burley. By Early, that's right, you told me that before, By Early. So they are teachers and I'm not sure what your title is, Robin.
I'm an educational assistant.
Educational assistant at Gladiola. And Gladiola is the alternative high school in town, and they also brought some of their students to work out. And Jalen's gonna talk about both Gladiola, what she does there as a teacher, what Robin does there as well. And then also the gardening club, gardening classes, the what do you call the sales stuff? What do you call that as a class?
Business intern.
The business internship program they have as well, and then whatever else they're doing. So thank you. And it's a real pleasure too, because I've been there a little bit and seen them both work, and it's really very impressive what they do.
He's being too modest. Yes, so. I have been teaching in District 7 for 22 years. Most of those years were at Grants Pass High School, and about 6 years ago, I came over to the Gladiola campus, which used to be a satellite campus under Grants Pass High School. But the last couple of years, we are now a registered high school, so we are our own school now. I am by trade a math teacher, so I've been teaching math for, this is my 24th year. And a few years ago, our garden had really fallen into disarray. So what had happened was we ran through several garden teachers kind of back to back, like every year getting a new person. And then the pandemic hit and it just fell apart, really. It was just a kind of, we were all kind of helping out here and there, but it just was overgrown. There was no kids around. We had animals, so we were still taking care of them, but that was really basically it. So an opportunity came and for me to take over the garden. And I like a good challenge and a project. I've done a lot of things for the school district over these years, and so I jumped in and I said, okay, I'm gonna take over the garden. So having just to go back a little bit and explain what Gladiola High School is, it is an alternative high school, so we do things a little bit different, but all of our students are getting a traditional diploma. So they have all the graduation requirements as any other high school student in the state. So they have to take, so many English classes, so many history classes, so many math classes, they have all those credits, but where we struggle because we're such a small staff, we have about 100 students at any given time. They do graduate out in quarters and we get more students in. So over the course of the year, we have more than that, but on campus on any given quarter, it's around 100 students. And we do not have a lot of electives. So we have core teachers, and each core teacher, meaning core subjects like math, English, history, science, we have to take on electives. So my elective is garden, which is good because I'm a very kinesthetic, hands-on person. And not having garden as an elective really even limits our students even more. So we try to get really creative. We send kids to Riverside Elementary to be interns and they get an elective credit that way. Some teachers teach a computers class and we all pitch in. So this is my contribution, is running the garden. And our students come to Gladiola High School for a variety of reasons. Grants Pass High School is very big. And you guys have all probably been on that campus. It can be very overwhelming. So if students have high anxiety, they just can't handle the immensity of it, Gladiola is a good option. All kinds of reasons for academics, they need a smaller environment. maybe they're ADD, ADHD, we have teen parents, we have all various situations. A lot of our students have, trauma, in their past, and so they're dealing with that, and they need just a little bit more attention. We have a full-time, therapist on campus, she works full-time, for us, and that is also another resource for our students, and so we try to serve every kid's needs individually, and with the goal of getting them to the finish line. And these three kids right here, they are graduating tonight, and they come to do this presentation with me because that's how awesome they are. So let's get into what we do in the garden. So Doug, if you could go to the next slide. I'm just gonna quickly run through this so the kids can talk to.
Working on it.
So I'll just kind of start talking. So we do the whole process of gardening. So we will be starting our seeds from start. So sorry, that means class is over. We don't have bells at our school. We decided to go with a no bell system, so that's my reminder to release the kids. So this is one of the projects that we started. Robin and I had this idea to have winter growing. And so we're like, how can we do this? And so we had gone to a garden conference actually, and we saw these indoor grow towers, and they're like $1,500. And we're like, oh, no budget. So Robin. This was her baby, so.
Okay, so as Valerie knows, my husband's pipe crafting, and he is a pipe fitter. So we have these very large pipes laying around on our property for absolutely no reason. And so when Jalen fell in love with this grow tower, I was like, oh, honey, sister, I got this. And so my husband and I, on a weekend, we built this. As he likes to say, this is a prototype. Next time I would have done it differently. But it works right now. Currently in the classroom, we have a great bowl of salad ready to eat. It's also very trainable. It's like having a little water feature in the room. What else would I say about it? That's it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we have, this was kale, and we harvested that kale and we had the kids incorporate it into a couple of recipes. We did kale chips, and we also did a zuppa toscana, which has Italian soup that has kale in it. So we always like them to try the stuff that they grow. So that was a hydroponic system. Next, everything that we grow in our garden, it starts from seeds, so that we're starting everything from scratch, so they see the whole plant cycle. So they're seeing how they can do that, and that's really what we can afford is seed and not starter plants. That next one. They have to do all the bed prep, so this is some pictures from out in our garden. We have 10 to 12 raised beds. And so they're weeding, they're cleaning it out, they're doing everything, adding more soil, fertilizing, everything. Next one. They're doing all the planting, so we get plants started in our greenhouse. And then we, during the appropriate season, so that changes throughout the year. I do teach garden all year, so we do winter planting and, spring planting. And then in the fall, we'll do some fall things and a lot of harvesting. And then I also teach a summer school program, and these kids will also be working throughout the summer on maintaining our garden. Next. Winterizing through the winter. So talking to them about like what plants grow in the winter and what could we have, and making sure that we're beds we are not using, we're putting leaves on there so they're good for the next year and not growing a lot of weeds, because that's not fun. And then harvesting, which is probably the most fun part. And just, again, utilizing those, that produce and some recipes. Go to the next one. When we don't use everything that we grow, which we don't, we sell in our farm stand. So this is kind of that business internship part. So our goal is not only to learn how to garden, and because that's a lifelong skill that they can use, but also then taking that mindset of like how our class is actually called business internship. How can we turn that into some business minded ideas? And so we sell our produce, in our farm stand, along with, we have 16 chickens right now, so we also sell our eggs. And during the winter, when we don't have produce, the kids will make projects. So you can see some like winter and fall porch signs. We try to sell various things. Right now in our farm stand, we have a couple porch signs. We have with our internship program, we had a construction internship program these last few quarters. And they made the sawhorses. I think we were here at a meeting and we were selling those, and we still have some of those for sale. And then we have a lot of plants right now. So if anyone's getting ready to start their gardens, we have a plethora of plants, squashes, zucchinis, lots of tomatoes, peppers, various flowers, tomatillos, zucchini. So if you're starting a garden, stop by Gladiola campus and visit the farm stand for very affordable plants. Okay. One of the things we did in the fall, as we did some pickling, we were still getting a high production from our cucumbers. And so we taught the kids how to do some refrigerator pickles. Next. Various cooking lessons. In chopping, they're learning knife skills, they're learning how to read a recipe. And then also it's like, hey, you grew this, what can we use it for? So one of the things was we had a plum tree, and so we had thousands of plums, and I'm like, what are we gonna do with all these plums? So we made a plum jam, and then we made cookie bars with it. And just you can see their faces, like this is the happiest class that they're in. They love all that hands-on stuff. Okay, next. We also do a lot of school beautification. I don't know if you've ever been to the Gladiola campus, but it is hands down the single prettiest school in all of Oregon. And I would test that against any other school. It does not look like a traditional school. It looks like you're driving up to somebody's front yard. We have roses, we have lilies, we have gladiolas, of course. We have all kinds of beautiful, beautiful plants and all around our campus. So that's one thing that we do in the garden, is we maintain that and we try to make our school really beautiful. This is a nice place to be. It really lowers the anxiety. It's not brick and concrete, and so we do have chickens. We kind of mentioned that earlier. So maintaining that, the students built those new feeders made out of PVC pipes. So they learned how to use PVC glue. And it's just gravity fed. And then they also made those water buckets that are also self-watering. So next. One of the really exciting things that actually these two ladies, the students that I brought, they just started learning how to beekeep with me. So talking about the life cycle of the bee and how the hive works. We have three very big hives right now. And so both Paige and Michaela have been beekeeping with me, and they have committed to continuing that through the summer, even though they're getting ready to graduate tonight. So they're gonna continue, maybe they'll be beekeepers when they have their own houses, and so that's pretty exciting. Having as many flowers as we do on campus, they have a lot to forage, and then we can use that honey production for sales in our farm stands. So I'm gonna teach them how to harvest the honey too. Okay, next. So our latest project, you might have seen in the Daily Courier. We were in the Daily Courier about a month ago, I would say. With the help of our very knowledgeable construction expert, might be in this room, and Doug came to Gladiola and wanted to start this construction program, and I said, the job, I want done. And so our little tiny greenhouse that we had in our garden can fit one person at a time. Well, when you have a class of maybe a dozen to 15 students, it's not really effective for class learning because only one student can go in there at a time. So I'm like, I need a bigger greenhouse and I don't have any money to do it. So I'm gonna make this work. So I got on Pinterest and I'm like trying to figure out low cost, greenhouses, and there was surprisingly a lot of converted school bus projects. So there was a school bus in the back of, the bus barn, which is Gladiola's right next to, that had been wrecked. It was it had I think a basketball team, and it had wrecked on I-5. And so they were using it for emergency drills. So they had it on its side, and police department and the fire department would come and do these trainings. Like, if this was an actual crash and this bus was on its side, how would we evacuate the kids? What would we do? So they were using it for training. And then it was gonna go to the landfill. They were gonna get rid of it, or scrapyard, I guess. And I just on a whim, I asked my principal, I was like, you think give me that bus over there? And so he's like, I don't know, let's ask. And so they asked, and they loved the idea because it kept it from going to the junkyard, and then we repurposed it, and it honestly wouldn't have happened. I had the dream and the vision, but it wouldn't have happened without Doug. And so with Doug's help, and we created an internship program where the kids would learn about construction trades. They gutted this bus. So this is this tow company, Caveman Towing, came out and volunteered their time and towed it for us for free, which was awesome. And they moved it back behind our garden area, which they're adjacent properties, but it still had to get moved. Okay, Doug, go to the next one. The students, they gutted the whole interior, all of the seats, the electrical work, the heating system, completely gutted it out. And they had fun doing it. And they also took out the windows. Unfortunately, this was a part of the project that I didn't think would have to happen, but all the windows are darkly tinted, which makes sense if you are trying to reduce your air conditioning in the bus, that those windows should be tinted, but not great for a greenhouse. So we had to take all those windows out. Next, with Doug's help, because we didn't want the roof to fall on the students, cut out the roof to get maximum light in. Next. Oh, wait, before you go to the next one, this one here, you can see, I don't know exactly where Doug got this idea, but I thought it was brilliant. He used skis, snow skis as the trusses for.
I think,
There was some donations, thank you. Made the trusses for the top of the roof, and then covered it in that 3 mil like heavy plastic for the roofs. And then we also installed, thanks to Redwood Glass, they donated most all of the plexiglass we would need to put in for the windows, to replace the windows. And so that also was budget effective. Thank you, Redwood Glass. Inside, you can see Michaela there learning how to drill. And the kids use saws and drills and hammers and all kinds of equipment, grinders and all kinds of things. Built shelves, built a planting station, storage shelves, repurposed the roof to make the shelves for storage, so cut that metal. We try to repurpose, reuse as much as possible. And also there will be a winter growing section in there as well. So this is a pretty big project we've been working on since about October, November. It is when I can kind of remember it started. So that gives you kind of an idea of what we do in the garden in 70 minutes, once a day for 5 days a week. It's a lot. I could really use 2 garden classes, but somebody has to also teach math. So the reason that this is such an important program, yes, for credits, for sure. But also I have noticed just being outside with the kids, it really improves mental health. They get fresh air, they get to be in nature, they get to just kind of decompress from a traditional classroom, which can be kind of stressful, and just work with their hands, get dirty a little bit, and just like breathe some fresh air for a change. Next, they also get physical activity. So it also could be really considered a PE credit also. So they're digging, they're using the wheelbarrow,
they're shoveling wood chips, they're doing all kinds of things. So they're getting that physical activity, which we know is also good for mental health, but also good for physical health. Next. And the connection they make. They make friends they never thought that they would make friends with. These two kids right here loved being in the garden. They told me so many times, this is the best way to end our school day. It has helped me so much. They look forward to it at the end of the day. And one of those kids told me that they wouldn't even be here anymore. They were seriously contemplating suicide. If it wasn't for Gladiola in the garden, and that just still gives me goosebumps thinking about when he told me that, because that's the kind of impact that we're making, for those kids, so. There's like an old picture of the garden class, so, I don't know if Robin wants to say anything else, but I asked the kids to also, talk about their garden experience, because they're gonna be able to tell you even more about the impact than I can.
Thanks. So I'm very much like the students where I have high anxiety, and working at Gladiola is the best place in the whole wide world to live. I've given friends tours and they're like, you work here? You seriously work here? It's so wonderful. And Doug, I just want to say thank you to you, because not only have you changed so many young people's lives, but you changed our lives, and you changed our campus forever. And I want to get on track, but thank you. It's been amazing, and we really struggled in the past. What are we gonna do in the winter? What are we gonna do? It's cold and it's raining, you know, sometimes we do painting, we do fundraisers, we do some food preservation so that later we can pull some basil out, or, you know, things like that, and do some cooking. And now we can grow year round. And I am so excited for that opportunity. The things that we've done so far this year, it is astronomical how many plants these kids have grown from seed. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had much luck growing things from seed. I usually spend a lot of money on seeds and then just end up going down to Weimar and buying the plants again. And it's just been amazing, and the thought that we can do that year round,
And fit a whole class in the bus.
and have a warm, dry space to go. We can do things outside. We didn't have anywhere to go outside before, so yeah, just thank you so much for the way you've changed our campus. I can't remember what the other thing is, so I'll hand it over to Michaela.
This is Michaela Gonzalez. She's been at Gladiola for 3 years. She's been a multiple time garden student and summer school. Yeah, so she was with me in summer school also, and so she spent a lot of time in the garden.
I love gardening, actually. I think it's like one of my favorite things. I like go out there, I'm like, yes, garden. When I did the internship, I also had a lot of fun. Because I got to do things that I never have done before, like using big power tools like a skill saw. Which I have had trouble with. I butt heads with the skill saw because it's really big and scary, but I know how to use one. And I've had a lot of fun turning that school bus into a greenhouse. It took a little while, but I showed up every day and then pushed through it, and I had a lot of fun. The garden, I'm hungry, I want a snack. Okay, well, I'll just go pick some peas off of the thing right there, because they're already grown. It's just, you have so much stuff in the garden. You got big beds full of carrots, and like, carrots don't get very big, but.
One thing I will say, Michaela's always a good sport to try the stuff that we grow out of our garden. She'll just eat it right off the vine, so.
So we have a lot of students who had no idea how much they loved gardening. They'd never done it before. And I know that that is something that they'll carry on with them for the rest of their life. And that is so special to me. Somebody who's like, I've never done this before, and then they're walking away with plants and they've made a bed at home and stuff. So yeah, a lot of life-changing moments.
Next, I have Paige jump, and this is the second jump that go through Gladiola. And so her big brother was also a garden student, so she thought, I'm gonna try this garden thing. And she's been at Gladiola for 2 years, I believe. And so, great job.
At first, when I first started gardening, I was like, this is gonna really be fun. And then throughout the time, throughout the quarters, I'm like, I really like this. This is why I come to Glad. And it, like Dean said, it made an impact on everyone. But my favorite part is how close everyone gets and the family we make during gardening. And I love beekeeping. Every time she says, oh, tomorrow we're gonna suit up, I'm like, yes. I'm so excited. So yeah. Gardening just changed a lot of people. I'm glad I got to go through that throughout the 2 years I've been there. And it was so fun.
Avery, congrats. And Grace, it's spelled really weird. Avery's been with me, I think 3 years, yeah. And then has been in garden, was also, like Michaela did the construction internship with Doug. And so I'd like you to talk about your experience.
I had a lot of fun. This quarter, I did the garden class and I did the internship with Doug. And so, Doug couldn't be there every day, of course, and because he's donating his time, which we love, but, so on the days we were outside in the garden, it was definitely a change from the construction part of it, but I really enjoyed being able to be outside in the fresh air and not be in a classroom. I just got to be outside, everyone else is in a classroom, and I'm just in the sun doing what I like. I didn't know I liked it until I started doing it, but now I know. And the construction part of it with Doug, I really learned a lot. I was glad to do that. We built some stairs coming out the bus, so we had another exit, so we were getting a bit of a traffic jam going in and out the doors. So we had to fix that, but never knew how to build stairs or even cut them with the saws. So that was all fun to learn. We built some shelves in the storage room we have for our janitor Chubba, and that was definitely fun too. Got to learn how to make shelves and drill all that too. Great experience.
I'll just end on a quick story. One of our students that we had this year, really struggled academically, and had a lot of personal struggles and, was angry a lot of the time and very volatile. And then he joined garden and, I have so many pictures of him in the garden, smiling and happy, and I just thought, who is this kid? This is not the same kid I had in math class that I thought was getting ready to throw a table. And at any given time, and I just got to watch him blossom and bloom, and he just told us that he's making a salsa garden in his backyard. And so that's kind of the thing that the transformation that students can have, and that they're learning these like lifelong things that are gonna enrich their lives forever, so. So thank you for letting us present today. Is there any questions before we wrap up? Yes.
What are their plans?
Oh, I got it. What are the plans, their future plans?
Okay. I think I'm going to, when I turn 18, work with my mom at River Terrace, which is the assisted living home over by the college. And then after that, go work at Aspire with my sister and help take care of more people.
My plans is I'm going to college for 2 degrees. Criminal justice, and I forgot the other one. But I'm gonna become a detective.
I wanted to go to RCC, going to trade school.
Any other questions before we wrap up? I have a question over here. So I have a few. So first of all, Doug, next time you're gonna do a fundraiser for Gladiola,
instead of making sawhorse things, make some of those cool indoor growing things. Because I think there's quite a few of us who would buy one of those to help raise money for these guys. And then I wanna know if you sell herbs.
We have dill, basil,
Fennel.
fennel, growing wild. But we do have those two, and cilantro. Those are the three we have in the greenhouse right now. And catnip, but they're kind of babies, so be looking for them in the farm stand soon.
Okay, and the farm stand is where, I don't know.
1137 Gladiola Drive. It's back behind Walmart, go past the bus barn.
If you just Google Gladiola High School,
Okay, and what hours are the? farm
It is a
stand?
pay on your honor, so it is out in our parking lot, 24 hours a day, so you can just drive up. And then there's a lockbox, so you can just pay on your honor, and a Boy Scout that was getting his Eagle Scout certificate built us that farm stand last year, so it's pretty cool.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Thank you. Just one question.
When are you going to have honey for sale?
We have to get the bees all summer to collect, but Paige and Kayla and I, about a week and a half ago, we put the queen excluder on to make, so not to get too into it, but you have to keep the queen from laying in your frames you want honey in, so. They are gonna just now starting that production, so we'll get them all summer, so it won't be till fall.
Well, thank you, everyone. That was just terrific. David, we appreciate your enthusiasm. I wish I'd had teachers like you, and thank you to all of you. And I know it's a little scary coming in here and talking to us. It means a lot to us, especially since we want to support you. And once again, all the special people in our club, one of the most special, Doug Walker. So big hand for Doug. Okay, Lisa's got some more cards, so would you make your way around and try to sell the $1 a piece cards? And Jim Huber's our sergeant today, he's actually got time to do his spiel.
I created a little game that I think will be fun, but anyway, there's 3 rules. Number 1, you can't use your phone. Number 2, you have to have fun at this. And number 3, don't get mad at me. It's a little weird, but what we do, maybe that back table will come just combined, so I think we'll have 6 tables. So I'm gonna, and there are prizes too. I pass out about 4 of these each table. What is these famous quotations from Shakespeare? And so already Jody's not looking too happy. Right, Jody? Okay, so anyway, so the idea is that you try to match the quotation with the play that it came from. And there's no tricks. You can use a play more than one, so a couple quotations came from the same play. And I didn't write any plays for which there are no quotes, so you're good. Oh, and I do have prizes. I have all these gift cards that I get from, I don't know, donating environmental organizations, so I've got presents. So, and I apologize for some of the copies, blame that one on the Staples, not on me. But and work together, and not, don't cheat. And we got 20 of these questions, so what I'm saying, people will do is, have I got one? I think what we'll do, we'll go through one, and then I'll ask if you're all done, and keep a tally of how many you got right. All right, are we ready to go?
well, personally myself.
Okay, okay, so the first one is a giveaway. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Where'd that one come from? You should all know that. Friends, Romans. Sure, why should we all know that? Because you live in Oregon, Southern Oregon. Okay, the first one, Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Anybody know that one?
Julius Caesar, okay, everybody gets that one.
Good.
Okay, now, the next one. Neither a lender nor a borrower be. These are famous quotes that we use not every day, but I know we've heard these in elevators and all kinds of places.
Are we?
I'm gonna go one, go down the list, and then when everybody looks like they're about done, I'm gonna go, see who got it right.
I know the song.
Okay, neither a lender nor a borrower be. Take your guess, write it down.
The first one was the only one.
And now you can't play with your phone. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Oh, this is funny. All right. If music be the food of love, play on. If music be the food of love, play on. I can see I should have done sports instead. All right, we'll go through this fast. Okay, here's an easy one. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Yeah. Never got that one. See, I thought that was an easy one. Here's another great one. A horse, a kingdom for a horse. Just write it down. Write it down. Okay, another easy one. Double boiling trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Very popular during Halloween time because there are witches involved. Are we mad at me yet?
Yeah.
Okay, all that glitters is not gold.
You know, you're reminding me that I didn't read this stuff.
See, you should pay attention.
Mine to be at high school was a long time ago.
You know, this one I think is on one of the entryways at the high school, Grants Pass High School. We are such stuff as dreams are made on.
That
All right,
Michael
that's a
Jordan.
bummer. I like this one. I don't think we have any lawyers in here, but the first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. That's actually Shakespeare. All right, we're halfway there, then we'll go through it. Okay, love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. You know, even if you don't know the answers, these are great quotes, by the way. You can use them. Love all, trust a few, and do wrong to none.
Stop trying to bump us up. Yeah.
Okay, parting is such sweet sorrow. That's another easy one. Just think of one of the most common plays by Shakespeare. Parting is such sweet sorrow. It's about love. Okay, next one. Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster. Famous play about a king who was jealous of his wife. It was Greek to me. You already chose that play once before, and it was Greek to me. Yeah, we were kind of enemies to the Greeks. Yeah. Okay, uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. It's quiet, he said. All right, we'll wrap it up. Okay, how about by the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Another easy one that came out that a lot of people like it around Halloween.
Okay, now don't get mad at me, I didn't say this is Shakespeare. Frailty, thy name is woman.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't say it.
Actually, you just did. Restated it, Jerry.
Okay, I restated it. I'll put it. Okay, thus with a kiss I die, another one. Love story. Okay, ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Last one, the lady doth protest too much, methinks. Now, give you the list, and I'll give you the answers, then we'll go to. All right. Want to wrap it up? You want the answers?
Yes, yes.
All right, okay, first one, Friends Romans, the country enjoys Caesar, that's neither a lender nor a borrower be from Hamlet. When Laertes is running off to England, his father makes a long speech. If music be the flute of love, play on. Well, night. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Romeo and Juliet, that's an easy one. A horse, a king for a horse. Remember the famous Hunchback King Richard III? It's gotta get down to action. The Oregon Shakespeare Festival, it's like 45 miles from here. Okay, double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, cauldron bubble. We should memorize that. Macbeth, yes. All that glitters is not gold. Merchant of Venice. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players as you like it. We are such stuff as dreams are made on. The Tempest. First thing you do, let's kill all the lawyers. Henry VI. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. All's well that ends well. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Romeo and Juliet. Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It was the green-eyed monster. Green-eyed monster, Othello. Gotta catch up with your brains. That's a good one. It was Greek to me. It's from Julius Caesar. You know, they were Roman. It's Greek to me, Roman. Okay, uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. Henry IV. By pricking my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Macbeth. Frailty, thy name is woman. Hamlet. Thus with kiss I die. Romeo and Juliet. Ambition to be made of sterner stuff. Julius Caesar. This is one of all the famous speeches of Shakespeare. When Julius Caesar is assassinated, Mark Antony makes a long-winded speech. And he says, ambition should be made of sterner stuff. If this be ambition, man, ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Anyway, and the lady doth protest too much, methinks, is Hamlet. So add them up. And
I don't know if we can add that high. We're only adding the ones we got right.
yeah. All right, I would never, see, actually, this is my strategy. If I do something really bad, I would never have to be starting an architect. That's the reason behind this. God, thank you.
That's one that's right.
We got 11. We got 9.
9. Well, I'm gonna give you some prizes and then we're gonna go to.
Still 11.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. Okay, let's do it. I think like what made it angry busted. Okay, what are you happy about?
I just have to share because I've been going to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for 42 years. I got one right. And I took a class in Shakespeare in college, so this is a very humbling experience for me. But I have 20 happy bucks because one of the people that I went to the Shakespeare Festival with this year is a guy named Shunji, who was actually born at Tui Lake. He's Japanese American. He was born during World War II. His parents, who were American citizens born in Los Angeles, were part of the 120,000 Japanese Americans who were put in various camps throughout the country. And when he got to high school in Southern California in the mid-40s, his older brother was valedictorian at the high school class, and then he was the following year. And the principal called them in to say that it would not be a good look to have two Japanese people. So they asked him not to be valedictorian, and he said, "No, thank you very much. I am valedictorian." It's just a fascinating thing. It reminds you that we can go through these crises and maybe carry on. So, all right, next year I'll start paying attention to my Shakespeare. Here's my money.
I too was very humbled.
The only one I knew it, Romeo and Juliet.
So anyway, but my happy bucks are for the Gladiola group. I mean, I have known Robin for many years. She's my neighbor, and my experience with her was as a teacher, we often had volunteers come into our classroom. And many times with those volunteers, we spent more time telling the volunteers what to do than if you could have done it yourself, sort of situation. So it was not always great, but we always had volunteers and that was great. Well, she was top notch. The minute she walked in the classroom, I mean, she knew exactly who needed help and how to help them. She would just go sit down next to them and then just move to the next. And I was just so impressed. And so this is for you, Robin, for what you've gone on and continue to do with the students.
Before I get to you, happy bucks for the students, and I grew up in San Francisco, so I didn't know how to garden until I got here 30 years ago or something. So my husband's Doug, and I have happy bucks for that, him being my husband. Okay, and who else was it?
Well, I have a happy buck and it should be a heck of a lot more. I'm always humbled by Doug. I think we need to give him a standing ovation. I think he's done it.
Have five happy bucks, for Doug, but Doug was a kid one time too. He probably didn't know what he was gonna do and how he was gonna do it, and a lot of us can relate to that. And so Deanie and these young folks from Gladiola, we're just really proud.
We want to, I also like to thank the students and the teachers from Gladiola. And what struck me was something Robin, right?
Yeah.
What Robin said, how she and her husband built something over the weekend. And it just reminded me how much time teachers put in of their own time and how much of their own money and their own resources they contribute. And I mean, it truly is a noble profession.
Well, I missed last week as we were out watching Ty, our youngest, his master's degree from Cornell, and that was very exciting. Really in cold, like
I got some, so happy bucks to all the students and Jalen and Robin, thank you for that. And it reminded me of my first time, I would say first time gardening, but I did garden once as a kid, and I went out and I lived near San Francisco on the steep hillside, so I could garden, and I went out to the hard packed ground and I threw a pick in the ground, and I didn't realize it, but it went into a bee's nest, a yellow jacket nest. And so anyway, I was in a shitty way for a few days there. My mother found me and threw me in a bathtub and started putting salts on me or whatever to keep me from falling up to bed. So that was my first experience gardening. Then we moved up here and I gardened for the first time on the side of where we're above the house, and we grew tomato plants. They were looking fantastic, and great and everything, and I'm pretty proud of myself. These tomato plants, we go out there and then one day it's like half the tomato plants kind of eaten away, I was gone. I was like, what's going on here? I'm looking at it a little bit, and there are these things called hornworms on them. And I don't know if you know what they are, but they can get as big as your damn thumb, and they got this big ugly horn on them, tobacco worms. And it was amazing to see this half this plant gone about an evening, whatnot, but, I love gardening, and thank you very much, and there was something else I was gonna say, oh. heck, you have a future as a tractor operator, heavy equipment. And she was very good with that piece of equipment. We had a chance to let them drive around and operate a piece of equipment, and she did fantastic with it.
And it is the, thank you, 10 of diamonds, the 10 of diamonds.
Right, I got it.
Fantastic. And thanks everybody for putting up with me, and I would like to end with a quote from Shakespeare.
Well, Tim Huber, that was excellent, although way too hard, we'll all agree with that. And I told everyone that you were probably valedictorian of your high school class, right? You show up. Anyway, so the thought for today, and I'm repeating one again, because this one makes a lot to me. Each of us is more than the worst thing we ever did. And that has been most recently attributed to a guy named Brian Stevenson, who's the author of Just Mercy, which I highly recommend, but originated with Martin Luther King. So thanks everyone, another great meeting. We'll see you next week. Well, yeah, all I can say.